Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second annual Spoonies. The Spoonie Awards, Spoonies.
The way you said spoonies made it sound so much stickier than it needed to be.
Thank you. It is. It's very sticky. That sticky man right there is my good friend Emmett Watkins Jr.
Oh Lord, I hope I'm not stuck with that title.
That's it, man. You made a new nickname. Congrats.
I'm the sticky bandit now. Oh boy, let's go still Halloween.
Dude, we're here, the Spoonies again. It feels like we were doing this yesterday, man.
I know. It feels like it was just yesterday when we did this exact same thing that we're about to do,
Oh
but for
yeah.
different media.
But it is, the Grammys are the same thing every year, but
Exactly.
that's
It's a
the industry.
tradition.
Exactly, it's tradition. And it's happened twice in a row now, so now it's a real tradition.
Indeed, indeed. So yeah, a lot of good stuff this past year in general.
For sure.
I'm gonna be honest, some of these categories I took in a different direction than we took last year. So I'm wondering
Ooh.
how that's gonna go. We'll
Okay.
get there when we get there.
I'm interested. I am color me interested. I'm curious now. I am curious and
Mm.
interested. Um for those of you who don't remember last year's Spoonies or you didn't get to watch last year's Spoonies, I just to like wrap up my year of an accomplishment because I played a lot of video games. I at the time ranked all 45 video games that I beat in the year 2022 in like order of how much I liked them, which was a crazy endeavor. It took me almost an entire flight. So we figured we would do the same thing as part of tradition. The only difference is this time for me, the list is 9 games long, and I think your list might be similar.
It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games.
Right. So combined, we're doing less than half of what I did last year. So it's gonna be a shorter portion of the show. We'll say.
Absolutely.
Why don't you start giving us your ranking? We'll do that as the icebreaker. We'll let you tell us what you played, how you liked it. You go ahead, my good friend.
I will also tease later on. One of the things that I'm nominating is probably the reason I only played 8 games this year.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But we'll get there when we get there. I'm going to do a very loose ranking here. So starting off with I'm not going to do bottom up. I'm just going to start at the top and then go down from there
That's
because
fine.
that's easier for me. My favorite game I played this year, Turbo Overkill.
Ooh.
That number one with the bullet. It rivals Doom Eternal. It rivals Titanfall 2. It is one of the best first person shooters I've ever played in my life. It has the insanity of Bayonetta and all this stuff, but it also feels good as a shooter, as a movement shooter specifically. Something that everyone should play. It's on Steam. It's really good on Steam Deck. Go ahead and pick it up. Hopefully it comes to consoles one day soon. That's number one. Number two, Resident Evil 4 Remake. What is there to say about Resident Evil 4 remake or otherwise that hasn't been said already? It's a great game. You know everything about it effectively,
I
but
still
it is
haven't
just as
played
good
2
as.
remake. I have it installed and I need to.
Hey, guess what? Not gonna get mad at you. I haven't played 2 remake or 3 remake or 1 remake
Sick. Okay. Good.
or 7.
Me neither.
Exactly. See, there we go. We're birds of a feather. We're flocking together. Resident Evil 4 is good. After Resident Evil 4, we got Unguard, a little indie game.
Oh yeah, I remember you talked about that.
Yeah, I love the hell out of this game. I've been telling everybody, what if Insomniac made a fencing game in the spirit of like the Princess Bride? And it's just as goofy and endearing as that sounds like, and it has a lot of good environmental combat things you could do. Short and sweet, beat it in less than 4 hours. Just a great time. Runs great on Steam Deck, of course. And yeah, most of what I played this year, if it was on PC at all, it was on Steam Deck. So great game there. After that, maybe this should go higher than On Guard, but I've already said it now, so I'm just gonna say it now. Finally beat God of War Ragnarok.
Oh, nice.
Yes, that was something I did earlier in the year in May. Everyone knows it's a great game. It's still a great game. It definitely, I am still, even though I said when I beat it, it's finally, they made a God of War game better than God of War 3. I still am shaky on that.
Okay.
I still think it's definitely better than God of War 3 at the end of the day, but I still think there's more of a fight there than it just being completely superior, like many others might say. But still a great game.
I will
Had a blast
say
with it.
in the little time I have left of break before I start school, I really want to get into Valhalla because Valhalla, everything I've seen, and I've been fairly quiet on it, but everything I've seen is sick. The fact that it is clearly very referential of the original trilogy has me super fucking excited. I mean, in the trailer, they played the original God of War theme, which is the first
Yeah.
time since the reboot, sort of since 2018, that has even been hinted at.
Hmm.
The the cover for Valhalla, if you've seen the cover for God of War 2, is
Yep.
is the same fucking thing. So yeah, I'm very excited to play Valhalla. That's one that
Yeah.
I need to get into.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. That's a big caveat for maybe this game is better than God of War 3 because Valhalla seems to interact with those old games that I love in a
That's
way more direct way. So once I play that, maybe that ranking
same.
will be more definitive.
Agreed.
But God of War Ragnarok is great. Next after that, I'm gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and say Dead Space. Dead
Mm,
Space remake. I played through that game on Xbox. It was great. Beautiful, fun gameplay. Blah blah blah. It felt so. I mean, it felt unnecessary. It is still a great game, but it didn't feel different from the original too much. It felt like it didn't really need to exist, but it was still a competent, good game. Otherwise, it just felt. Why am I playing this again? I know it's been 10
right.
years, but like not that much has changed in these 10 years. Dead Space is good though. Also good. Borderlands 3. Really, really like that game. Um, I'll say this: did not care about the story. I kind of just got the itch to play a shooter, like a looter shooter, and Borderlands 3 had been sitting in my Steam library forever, and it runs great on deck. So of course I ran through it. Um, some of the most satisfying gunplay in the genre. Story that at first I actively hated it. Now I just don't care. So if I can at least stay that level with the story and the gameplay's way above it, it's good enough for me. So really enjoyed Borderlands 3. Second last one, The Gunk. If you remember this
Oh
indie game,
yeah, I have that in my
yeah,
wish list from you.
yep, there you go. The Gunk is really good.
Hmm.
Another short, sweet, to the point game. I think it was like 3.5 hours when I played it. Voiced by the main character is voiced by Fiona Nova. I believe
Sick.
that's her name on
Yes,
Twitter.
that is her name.
Yes, thank you. And she does a great job, as does the entire cast here. And it's just a really cute game. You're sucking up sludge. You're doing kind of Nathan Drakey platforming, but it's a lot more indie. And it's just nice, cute, pleasant, very satisfying. It's not a lot of friction. It's just a fun little story to play through. And
Sucking
then the
up
last one
sludge.
here, indeed, yeah. Let's kill the sludge. I love it. The last one I'll say, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Shredder's Revenge.
Great game.
Um,
Yeah, I beat that
it
last
is
year.
it is a great game. The only reason it's at the bottom is because I'm not a big beat 'em up guy.
Totally.
But it is a great game nonetheless, and it was great with friends. Played it with the VGU.TV crew and enjoyed every moment of it. So yeah,
Yeah,
those are all the games I played.
I feel the same way. I have last year's list too. It ranked 30 for me, but I still enjoyed it. I'm not a beat 'em up guy, but I had a ton of fun with that game. So yeah, I'm with you.
Indeed,
All
bingo.
right. So good job, Emmett. That's a great list of games.
I played things.
You played some stuff. I'm gonna tell you stuff I played, and then there's a little caveat at the end. All right.
uh,
So number 9, the only real game that I beat that I didn't care for all that much was Somerville. If you remember Somerville, it's that Limbo. Some devs from Playdead or whatever, and I don't know. It's just it. The puzzles are never like extremely interesting the way that like inside puzzles are, and the
mhm.
story at the end is just kind of like they try to big brain it way too much in my opinion, and just kind of
uh,
like kills the vibe for it. But yeah, after that I have Ollie Ollie World, a game that I love the Ollie Ollie games. Those are games I've always like very casually dabbled in and like just played a little bit and gone ahead with. Ollie Ollie World I enjoy that it's more of a platformery vibes and cool worlds and whatever. Not a game that I like 3-starred every single level, but I played it, I beat it, had a blast, and that was that. Number 7, I have Forza Horizon 3. Finally rolled credits on that. I mean 5, not
Mm.
Forza Horizon 3, 5.
I was about to say, damn, delisted
This boy's back in the
in the
back in the
360
Xbox
era with it.
360 days. Yeah. No, Forza Horizon 5, great game. Everybody knows Forza. It's just fun. It's a good time. Then I have Death's Door. It was the first game that I beat in 2023. I think that was like very early on in January. Fun game. Honestly, I think it suffered from being overhyped a little bit for me. Like people were hyping it like it was the next coming of Jesus Christ, and it was a super fun game, but you know, not
Yeah, just another one.
mind-breakingly amazing, right? Here's a game where I think it should rank higher, but I have such a personal PTSD attached to this fucking game that I can't because
Oh
such a
no.
bit long part of the memory of this game for me is so bitter, and that's Hi-Fi Rush. And you might ask
Oh,
yourself why? What about Hi-Fi Rush? I adore the game, right? Like the game is so much fun. What can I say that hasn't been said? However, while I was playing Hi-Fi Rush, my PC was the most broken it's ever been. Turns out it was a power supply. I needed a new power supply. But the PC would blue screen, Emmett, every 30 fucking minutes when I would play this goddamn
oh,
game.
oh
I
my god.
swear to God, my PC blue screened on me at least like 20 times during the playthrough
You
of
poor
Hi-Fi
thing.
Rush. So I love Hi-Fi Rush, but I look at it and I'm like, because I just
I had the same experience with Uncharted 3. I got the Game of the Year edition back in the day, and for whatever reason, that version had so many bugs on PS3.
can't fucking do
So
it.
I'm forever tainted on that game.
The worst thing is it's not the game's fault. It's totally it was me. It was a bunch of issues that my PC was having, but I just associated with that. So yeah. Number three, I have Rogue Legacy 2. That was a Steam Deck game that more than once I found myself deep in a run where I should have been studying for an exam, and that's how good of a game that is.
You came back around though.
Oh yeah, I did. I did pretty all right. I did pretty all right. Number two, we have Spider-Man 2. I think one of the only 2023 games I beat. Obviously, Jedi Survivor also. Fantastic game. I spoke about it here on the Spoonful a couple episodes ago. It's incredible. It's fantastic. It's everything Spider-Man 1 did and better. What can I say about it? And
Hell
then
yeah.
number one, my number one Steam Deck obsession ever,
Ooh.
probably. And it is like the Steam Deck game. Like everybody who has a Steam Deck plays this game on the Steam Deck.
Ooh.
Hades.
Okay, okay. That's the one. I knew it was a roguelike. I was trying to figure out which one.
It's Hades. What can I say? Fucking immaculate game. Amazing. One of the greatest games ever. My caveat is that if I had beaten Tears of the Kingdom, it would
It would
be
have
on
been
this
number
list
one.
and it would have been number one. So
Mhm.
we'll have that conversation right now because it's time for the actual awards in the Spoonies. We
Yeah.
we will start with Game of the Year. We'll get the big gaming category out of the way right now. And this one is one that is interesting, right?
Mhm.
I have a
Absolutely.
couple picks. I have a couple shout outs. I will defer to you, sir. Where are you at when it comes to Game
Hmm.
of the Year?
When it comes to game of the year 2023, look, I said what my game of the year is already. Turbo Overkill is my number one. I'll give out of all those games I listed, On Guard and Resident Evil 4. They are two of the other four games I beat that came out this year, but RE4 is just it's just incredible. It's just such quality, and it just slots. It's impressive how well they made Resident Evil 4 slot in with modern video game design to where it feels like all the other games, but in a way that doesn't feel derivative. It still feels fresh. It feels like I don't know, it feels like they updated the celluloid of a classic film or something like that.
Okay.
Um, it's really good. And the fact that it runs the way it does on Steam Deck, which is to say damn near flawlessly, just makes it all the more incredible. And of course, On Guard, I've already talked about it. Just a great game, so fun. It's in and out, doesn't overstay its welcome, just gives you a blast, and it's just a hell of a good time. Gotta love that game. But no, Turbo Overkill takes it fully for me.
Okay. Okay. Well, this one's going to be an interesting one because if you guys, if you people at home remember, the way the Spoonies work is Emmett nominates a bunch of people, I'll nominate a bunch of people, and we have to agree on one, right? We just have to
Yep.
figure one out. It has happened in the past where I bring something up and Emmett will bring something up, and the winner is something that neither of us brought up just because, like, it kind of became the
It's the
happy middle.
consensus.
So
Hmm.
so we'll see. I mean, for me, I kind of already gave it away. Tears of the Kingdom is my game of the year.
Mm.
I am close to beating that game, and I'm like, actually, I'm not that close. I'm close-ish to beating that. It's a
Everyone
big
says
game.
that.
It's a big game, and
Absolutely.
I've put like 70 something hours into it. So I,
Good
I
lord.
I feel pretty confident in saying that I understand this game enough to give a game of the year for me personally. Spider-Man 2 is a close second, right? Like it's one of those unfortunate things of, Insomniac and shout out to all the people at Insomniac. I'm so sorry for everything that's going on, by the way.
Yeah.
Total aside, that sucks, man. But Insomniac just makes fucking good games, dude. They just make good ass video games time after time, banger after banger. Spider-Man 2 might be one of their best. Two games that I want to give shout outs to. One is Lies of P, which I was literally
Mm.
playing right before we started recording while I was listening to some stuff, which, we'll get into the music category later.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to Lies of P. Lies of P is the most FromSoft game that's not a FromSoft game. Like it's perfect. They are blatantly copying the formula, and they did an immaculate job of it, which is
Absolutely.
commendable. Game is fantastic. I'm super, super, super enjoying my time with it. And then Baldur's Gate 3, obviously, it has to be mentioned. It's a game that I started a campaign with Jimena, and when we're busy, we haven't had a ton of time to like super, super keep going. But everything I've seen about this game is completely mind blowing. Like this game is insane. The amount of shit you can do in it, and it's incredible. I don't think it's gonna get Game of the Year because I have like 3 hours in it, but I had to give it a
Yeah.
shout out. I had to give it a shout out.
Definitely very good. Huh. All right. So Tears is your number one, followed closely by what,
Spider Man
Spider-Man
2.
and
And then I would say Lies of P of 2023 games is my number
okay.
3. By the way, fucking Starfield, bro. What the hell, man?
Oh, dude, Starfield came and went so fast, it was
Bro,
insane.
you want to know how
Like
sad
before
the
I even touched it.
situation is? I
How sad.
downloaded No Man's Sky, and I think I'm just gonna play that instead.
You're telling me someone up the Bethesda game years before it even came out?
Bro, it's
That's
like I was
insane.
watching a video about it. I'm like, this is the game I wanted Starfield to be. Like, literally, this is what I wanted it to be. I may as well just fucking play it.
That's a damn shame. That's a damn shame. Okay. I will say during that conversation, mate, remember, wait, there are more albums that I listened to this year. So we're gonna come back
Oh,
around to that.
oh, the album
Um,
chat's gonna be a good one.
it's gonna be very interesting. But for this one right here, I'll say this. I played like a good 20 hours of Tears of the Kingdom. I've played a good 10 or so hours of Spider-Man. I played a
Mm,
good 3 or so hours of Lies of P. I see the quality in all of them. I enjoy all of them to different degrees. Liza P, I'm going to strike from the list for me as eligible just because I do want to get back to it and try to get more time into it, but it is very difficult. And the margins of error are not narrow, but they're narrow in ways for me specifically that make
dude,
it difficult.
can I
Where
tell
it's all
you?
about parries. Yeah.
Today, like I had played very little of it, but I hadn't even gotten into like the main first boss that you play in that game,
Mhm.
right? Until today. And let me tell you, the first like 3 times it killed me as like a From Software addict, where this thing was just demolishing me. I had a huge smile on my face because I'm a fucking masochist. I was
You're
like,
like, I'm gonna come back.
oh yeah, let's go. I missed this.
See, what's hilarious is that I had that feeling with the game this year, and it was Wulong Fallen Dynasty.
Nice.
That was my, oh, I'm getting demolished. Can't wait to come back here and fuck it up. And I've done that to 2 bosses already, and I want to play more of that, even more than Liza P. Um, I'm split between Zelda and Spider-Man, where I think Zelda's probably a better game than Spider-Man, but I get annoyed about Zelda because Zelda's great and I enjoy it, and I think I might see that one through. But they are squeezing blood from a stone in a very impressive way. But the stone, it's only a stone for arbitrary reasons. It didn't
Right.
need to be a stone.
Right. Right.
So I'm just annoyed about that fact. But I think that game I might be better giving it that
It's gotta
because
be it, man. Like the
yeah.
I think Tears of the Kingdom is also suffering from the fact that it came out so early. Like think back
Mhm.
of when it was blowing up on social media, the
Oh
amount of
yeah.
stuff that people were making in this game, like fully
Flaming penis
working
monsters.
mechs and penis monsters and shit. It's crazy. Like the
Hmm.
what they have made possible in this fucking video game running on a goddamn Nintendo Switch is
Yeah.
insane, dude. It's fucking magic, that game.
Like a 4-year-old iPhone, effectively.
Dude, holy shit, it's magic.
It is. It is magic, and I will say for Spider-Man 2, I Spider-Man 1 and Miles Morales after it, top 5 games of all time for me. Spider-Man 2 is probably going to end up around there. It might replace it,
Oh, it's real good.
but it feels like just more of the same. And I'm sure there's some story things coming up later because I'm basically no spoilers. Actually, this is kind of a spoiler. A certain very important location that you're brought to near the beginning of the game is now destroyed.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that's where I'm at. That's the last thing I saw. I'm sure things keep going and changing after this, but it feels very like, all right, I could see all these things coming. There's only a handful of surprises.
It's
Zelda delights around every corner, surprise around every corner, so I think that's the one.
yeah. And also like for Zelda specifically, I think one of the coolest moments ever is going into the depths for the first time.
Oh yeah,
Like that
holy
feeling
hell.
of like holy shit, what is amazing. That
Mhm.
alone earns it the award in my opinion.
I think that's absolutely fair. And for this to be like this is the first Zelda that I'm like itching to one day go back and complete, where I didn't feel that about Breath of the Wild. I didn't feel that about
Yeah.
any of the other games. Maybe if they finally port Wind Waker, I will, but that's the only other one I've ever cared about Zelda wise.
I am hoping that I can do with Zelda what I did with Elden Ring last year, where I went to visit my dad in West Virginia and I downloaded Elden Ring on my Steam Deck and I beat Millennia on my fucking Steam Deck, by the way.
Oh, you madman.
Fucking a crazy person on a plane.
God bless you.
And I beat that game December 31st. And I'm hoping because I'm going to go to
Mm,
West Virginia again that Tears of the Kingdom will be beaten. We'll see.
good stuff.
But
Good stuff. I'm looking
congratulations
forward to it.
to The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom for earning, I should say, the 2023 Spoonie.
Yep. Dun, da, 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 da.
We have movie of the year coming up next. And I think this is the hardest category of this year.
Oh yeah.
I think when I was writing down my options, I was like, "Oh fuck, man. This one is
It's gonna be
not an
stupid.
easy one."
Yeah, and I watched a lot of movies this year. Well, maybe not a lot, but like more than a little.
Yeah, fair enough. What are your picks, my kind sir?
Whew, okay. I there's a lot of really good movies on here, and I'm on my letterbox, of course. I'm sorting it by rating. I'm trying to see what we got here. Um, I'll anticipate number one a little bit. Number one is there's 3 movies that were vying for number one. You got Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Not on my
I
list. Interesting.
yeah, it's
Haven't seen it.
look. Ooh, see, that's why it's not on your list. It is one of those movies. I am not a Guardians person. Not that I dislike them at all, but they just never. I never had an emotional attachment to them. They were just like some more fun movies. When Endgame came out, the only game that I hadn't seen before I saw Endgame was Guardians Volume 2. And so I watched that in my car right after work before we went to the theater with friends.
Nice.
And so like that was just always in the corner of the MCU. Volume 3 made me give a shit about everybody, but then like retroactively like play with my nostalgia to be like, damn, I actually care about these guys.
Nice. Okay. Cool.
And
Yeah, I gotta
it's
watch it.
I couldn't believe it made me cry. Like not just a tear, like I was sobbing low key. One I'm very split on this. I'm only gonna pick one of these. I'm gonna say them both, but I'm only gonna talk about one. We got Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. They are right there equals. And part of it is because Spider-Man, it's a little bit boring because everyone knew it was going to be great, and of course it was great, and I love it for all the reasons that people have been talking about. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, though, no one expected that to be so fucking incredible. It is so good. It's good in specific ways, in the ways where Spider-Man and the whole character Miles Morales, I relate to him a lot. I relate to the Turtles in similar ways. It's very bizarre how they did that, and there's a lot of fan service there. There's like Jackie Chan does a voice in the
Yeah,
film,
I
and
heard.
there's a lot of Jackie Chan fan service in this movie that you wouldn't have expected from a film like this. It's just incredible. So those two are neck and neck, and then the last one, which I think ultimately is going to be my winner, Barbie. I just Barbie is
Amazing.
so much fun, but is also like deep and about some shit. It is a perfect type of movie to like watch and enjoy just as a random passive viewer, but you could easily write some video essays about it. And I've watched a couple of them. So like it's just a perfect hybrid of like enjoyable, but also there's something deeper it's trying to say, and I really like that. And it's just weird as shit. And I'm so happy a movie this weird got so popular like it did.
Yeah, I love the weirdness factor of it for sure too.
Mhm.
That it's a wild movie, and I'm glad it exists. Similarly, I have 4 picks, but only 2 of our picks overlap, which is what I enjoy.
Ooh.
Right, I have Across the Spider Verse because of course it's what you said, and it's a follow up to one of my favorite movies of all time, and they fucking killed it. Like, it's amazing. It's incredible in every single way. I still don't know if I like it better than the Spider Verse, but it's the classic sequel thing, right? Where
Yeah.
sequels for movies, even if they are really really good or even a little bit better, it sometimes it can lack the originality of that first one. Whereas I feel like games can stumble upon the same thing, but sequels have so much potential for
Mhm.
improving.
You can only wow once.
Exactly, yes, but I mean, Across the Spider Verse is amazing, right?
Indeed.
Barbie, I also have it in my list because Barbie's incredible. I have Oppenheimer.
Mm.
Jimena and I did Barbenheimer on back-to-back days. We did Oppenheimer, and then the
Oh
next
yeah.
day we did Barbie. And you know the meme of like, who's that one sicko that gets front row seats at an IMAX showing of Oppenheimer?
Big
It
ass face.
it was Jimena and I. And even like, because it was just a theater that had no assigned seating, we were getting out of work, and we just
Mm.
we got the tough draw
Luck of
of
the
being in
draw.
the front row, and it was still amazing. Viewing it like this the whole time with gigantic faces, incredible experience. And then what is my winner? I don't know if you saw it,
Ooh.
but Jimena and I saw this last week, and it swept the floor for me. It's
Oh
funny because I
fuck.
was talking to Jimena because I'm like, hey, what's your movie of the year? And then she thought about it. She's like, this one. I'm like, I'm glad you said that because even though we watched it, I forgot. And that's probably my winner too. That's The Boy and the Heron, the
Really?
new Studio Ghibli movie. It's incredible, man. I
Huh.
Jimena and I saw it in theaters. We wept. We
Huh.
adored it, and we love Studio Ghibli movies in general, but this one was amazing. It was incredible, beautiful movie, gorgeous to look at. Just every amazing thing of a Miyazaki movie I can possibly say I can say to this one. The fact that there's never been a boy protagonist in a Miyazaki movie, or and this time it's a boy because it's him. It's so fucking
Uh,
cool. It's amazing.
uh,
I adore The Boy and the Heron, and yeah, it swept the floor for me right at the end.
mm, God damn. I number one, sounds like I need to see Boy and the Heron
You
because I
should
did
see
not
it.
have that
It's
on my
amazing.
list to watch. Well shit. I know Gabby loves Studio Ghibli. She's seen a lot of their
Should
movies.
love it.
She's slowly introducing me because I've never seen any of them until Princess Mononoke this year. Um, so now it's on the fucking list.
Should love it.
Ah, yeah, I'm sure she will. Damn. So now what do we do about this? So the only ones that overlapped were Spider Verse
And Barbie.
and Barbie.
Listen, I'm happy giving it to Barbie, right?
Hmm.
I'm happy giving it to Barbie. At the end of the day, I'm happy giving it to any of these, right? You seem to be the most into Barbie out of your list.
But I also feel Barbie is my number one, yes, but like if you just tell me, let me ask this: Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, is that more of a movie where it's like objectively it's on here, or do you feel passion for it?
Both, man. I mean, I feel passionate about that movie.
Okay.
I had a great shout out to Andrew Francis. I went to LA earlier this year, and when he was driving me to the airport so I could go back, we were having an amazing, like, just totally nerdy, passionate discussion about whether or not the cliffhanger at in Across the Spider Verse is the best cliffhanger of all time.
Ooh.
And I was pushing for a yes. He was on the Infinity War side. We brought up Star Wars, and I am a firm because I was there and because Infinity War, although was shocking, was like slightly less like I don't really know how to say it. Across the Spider Verse came out of fucking left field so much that damn cliffhanger that I
Yeah.
remember being in theaters. Every fucking person in my seat in my theater went what when that movie cut, and that was such a fucking cool experience. And yeah,
Good lord.
I adore Across the Spider Verse.
You know what? I'll give you that. I will say, as far as that argument goes, it's Infinity War, absolutely, because that ended. Like it wasn't, oh shit, something's about to happen. It's, oh no, they lost.
Yeah, amazing. Agreed. Amazing.
They could have not made another movie and left it there, and that's what's so bold about it. For Across the Spider Verse, though, how do you feel if we just gave it to that? Because I also feel very passionate about it. I like the whole idea of like subverting the structures that already exist and feeling like you're the one anomaly out of a system that's already been running. I really relate to that, and I like what they do with that concept.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm happy giving it to that. That or Barbie or any of the four, I'm happy. But
I
sounds
feel
like
like I feel like Barbie for you, you're not super duper excited about Barbie in a way where you might be excited about Spider-Man. Is that fair to say?
listen, I adore Barbie as well. Like that's the thing. I really am happy either way because Barbie was a blast. We went with a huge group. Everyone was dressed to the nines, all pink. I had pink shirts and a pink pants and pink shoes and
Mhm.
Barbie's amazing. Like the again the weird factor of Barbie is immaculate and it's funny as hell. It's talking about something super fucking real in a really meta way, but somehow it works. It's
Hmm.
emotional when it needs to be emotional. It's awesome. It's a feast of a movie.
All right, here's what we're gonna do for a completely arbitrary reason. Barbie, I saw with Gabby a week early, and we had matching Barbie shirts and everything, and that was a great experience. Spider Verse was a double feature. I saw it right after Little Mermaid, and Little
Nice.
Mermaid was fun. It was good, but then I immediately got a heat stroke after watching Spider Man. So I like Barbie.
Barbie. Congratulations to
Yeah.
Barbie for the Spoonie of movie of the year.
Dun, 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 dun.
I knew that was going to be a tough one, man. That one.
Whew.
Whew.
Yeah, we had to just do a thing.
Yeah, we just had to call it, and I'm glad you did. Thank you for that one.
hmm This next one I think is going to be a lot easier.
I think this one's easy. I'm gonna just kick us off with the one that's not gonna win, because I know which one's gonna win, or I have a good
Oh, I
feeling.
got I got two that aren't going to win.
I got one that's not gonna win, and that's Succession. Succession is one
Okay,
of my
yeah.
favorite TV shows ever. The finale is not just the finale. The final season as a whole is amazing. The last episode is perfect. The episode titled Connor's Wedding, I'm not saying anything else, is probably the best episode of television I've ever seen. There's never been, I don't think there's ever been a better rug pull. Like,
Hmm.
better, pulled off better than that episode does. And if you've seen the show, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen the show, you don't know what I'm talking about. Last thing I'll say about Succession, the final piece. I adore the soundtrack to Succession. I listen to them from time to time. The final piece, like that plays in the last scene of the show, is a fucking masterpiece, man. Nicholas Bertel is a genius. It's incredible. I will listen to it to this day and get chills all over my body from just what a great piece of music that is. So I want to give a shout out to Succession, and I'll let you go ahead and give us your shout outs, and then we'll say what probably wins.
Huh. I respect that. I respect Succession. I got to get around to that. But what I did get around to, the second tier one that I'll say, Swarm, the Donald Glover produced show starring Dominique Fishback and Chloe Bailey and some other folks. Billie Eilish is in an episode. Very weird show. Had the biggest mindfuck I've ever seen in television history, where I don't want to spoil it, but there's one episode near the end of the season that gets so meta that I accidentally called the actual FBI tip line. And if you've seen the episode, you know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. But I was like, this shit can't be real. And then you've reached the actual line, and then I had to hang up.
Oh shit! I'm on the list now. God damn it!
Oh god, exactly. But it was just a incredible ride. This is a show that I started with me, Gabby, and the two friends that we went to LA with, Richard and Aubie. We all just started it while we were in LA. We would watch an episode every night. Then we got back to my place and we spent the rest of the night just watching the rest of the season. And it was really fun. That show is insane. It goes places. It does weird shit. It takes weird turns. And it's not even all good, but it's all fascinating. So I want to give a shout out to that. And then what is my TV show of the year, but it's probably not going to win our consensus vote, Strange Planet on Apple TV Plus.
Oh, I've heard great stuff.
Yes, it is great. I think one of the producers of Rick and Morty does this show. I want to say Dan Harmon is involved with the show. But the thing about the show is, think about Rick and Morty. Think about how irony poisoned that show is. Right. Think about how not serious, how just like obnoxious that show can be. As someone who doesn't watch it, that's just what it seems like from the outside looking in.
Season 7, great season, by the way. The most recent season. Okay. Very, very good. This year, top notch. Top notch. Anyway, continue.
I might come back around. We'll see. But Strange Planet is basically Rick and Morty if it was just all sincere, all earnest, all still catering to adults, but not trying to be so crass and vulgar all the time. It still interacts with you as if you're not a child, but it's soft. It's just pleasant. It's easy. The conflicts in the show aren't world ending. People aren't dying. Things aren't catastrophized all the time. It's very simple, like Seinfeld level conflicts, like just typical normal American life things. Seinfeld. And it's also because like no one's dying in Seinfeld, right. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Like no one's like, oh shit, hostage situation. It's all just normal, regular, everyday things. That's the type of show Strange Planet is.
Kind of die in Seinfeld, actually.
Yes, that's true, but like it's a joke and it's lighthearted.
I know.
Exactly. But yeah, Strange Planet, it's just really nice. It's just a really delightful show. Me and Gabby had just been watching it this whole year, and we finished the whole season up, and it was just so sweet. And it has I hesitate to say this because like I ain't necessarily qualified to say this, so take this with a grain of salt. But everyone's so literal in the show, it kind of comes off as, because I'm a very like, I understand sarcasm, but it takes me a while to recognize it. This show is perfect if you are such a direct person. Everyone in the show is very direct in that same way. And I love that. And it's really nice to see a show where every character is pretty much on that level. So Strange Planet is great. It's not going to win, though. Do you want to say what it is?
It's The Last of Us.
It's The Last of Us.
It's an easy. It's probably our only slam dunk of this year's Spoonies. Mm-hmm. Just because it's like perfect intersection of everything we love, right? I mean, I have 2 fucking Last of Us tattoos. Like Jesus,
Bingo.
I mean,
Ellie is right above my head behind that damn CD.
Exactly, dude. And they fucking nailed it, right? And that's the thing that's remarkable. And what else can we say that hasn't been said? But they fucking nailed it. Like they did the game in a show, and it was perfect. No notes. Like altered very few things. The things they altered make sense for television. The Addition is one of the best episodes of TV ever. Like,
God,
fuck me, man. The Bill and what's his name? Bill and Hank episode. Fuck me, dude. Like, it's one of the greatest episodes of TV ever. So
sobbed.
Sobbed.
Literally, we were
Sobbed.
watching. Me and Gabby were also watching that show, and she was doing my hair while that episode was on, and I'm just over here just bawling, trying to keep my head still while she's twisting my head.
Amazing. Like, God.
I'm like, oh fuck.
And
So,
like
yeah,
so
that-
beautiful
yeah.
for a show and a game that's so fucked up. So purely beautiful. Amazing. Incredible. I think of no shit, I think about that episode and its message all the time. Like constantly. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Shout out to The Last of Us, man. What an amazing show, and I can't wait to see what they do with season 2, man, and part 2, because that's gonna be a fucking doozy.
I can't wait for the normies to see what happens.
Yeah, I know. I went, dude. When like Jimena would be showing me TikToks of people like thirsting on Pedro Pascal, I was like, oh man, you guys are not prepared for what's gonna happen.
Oh Lord Jesus, exactly. Oh my, I just want. I have like another year to get my whole family in Last of Us train, and then when the new season comes out, I want to get Gabby in there, all of us as a family watching this episode, just so I can like just turn the phone on.
Be like, I need to see what you guys think of this.
Yeah, I need to document this.
Oh yeah, no, that's gonna be a fun time. So shout out to The Last of Us. Shout out.
Indeed. Yeah.
All right, moving on to I think potentially the second most interesting category here, for the sense of unlike movie of the year where we have a lot of similar picks of very high levels that we are trying to figure out. This one is just a wide fucking net. Like we might not overlap at all.
Probably not, actually.
So I want to start with you. For album of the year, what are you thinking? What are your top picks? Where are you at?
I'm a little bit embarrassed by a lot of my top picks. And I'll say this. This is something that like Gabby has been lightly teasing me for throughout the year, but it kind of happened on accident. This is the year I said it on the Spotify episode. We were talking about our Spotify Wrapped. I got heavily into Babytron this year. Listened to a lot of Babytron. I also weirdly started to get into Jack Harlow because he put out an album and it was really good. I also continued to be into Marlon Craft, who also put out Home Court Advantage Volume 2. Really good. And the common link between all those, white boys who rap. And there's nothing wrong with that, of course. There's nothing wrong with white boys who rap. But I feel strange about the fact that I listen to so much of just white boys who rap in a genre that doesn't belong to them.
No.
So I felt strange about that. I will say on the side, thanks to Gabby for kind of putting this more on my radar, where I'm a big fan of anime. He's a rapper. He made an album called Limbo a couple years ago. And like he did that song that Beyonce had on one of her Instagram stories, and then he blew up off of it. It's like bat dang, fine as hell.
I love it. Yeah, Jimena loves M&A as well, and I'm a fan. I fuck with him.
Indeed, M&A's great. This year he put out an album with Kate Tramine.
Yep.
And the album's called Animine, I think. Kate
Tramine, isn't it Kate Tramine?
Kate Tramine. It's Kate Tramine.
Yeah. Good album. Good album.
Great album, I'd say. I listened to it a lot earlier in the year. Gabby loves Kate Tronada. She absolutely loves that guy. So, both of our passions combined into one little album group. So I got to give a shout out to that. But my number one is Jackman's good. Yes. Home Court Advantage Volume 2 is good. Yes. Ben Reaper 3, the Old Testament, or no, the New Testament, that from Babytron, that is the album that like turned me on to Babytron. And don't know what it is, don't know why. He, like I told you, it's just a bunch of punchlines. He just hits you with punchlines every single song, and some wacky ass beats. This dude's rapping over the Keenan and Kel beat at one point in this album, but it's fire.
Hell yeah.
It's really good. He raps over the Samurai Jack beat, bunch of weird, wild, random stuff.
Sick.
And so yeah, it's a great album. I still feel weird that like my number one is a hip hop album by someone who's a visitor to the genre.
Hey man, that Midwest rap, it's booming, bro.
It's that Detroit style rap, and this is also something. This came out January 13th, and it stayed in rotation for so long.
Check it out.
So I got to give it up to Indeed. Ben Reaper 3, The New Testament. That's my number one album of the year.
All right.
Let's see if you're anywhere close.
So okay. Well, I have some like typical you would expect Mario picks. I'll start with those, right? I spoke about it last episode. Olivia Rodrigo's new album, Guts, I enjoyed thoroughly. I like it better than Sour, and I like Sour quite a bit. Guts, great album. Been listening to it a whole bunch. I'll give it its flowers, right? Then another fairly to be expected Mario pick. Paramore's new album, This Is Why. One of those, it came out very early in the year and I forgot that it did. And I'm glad that I looked at some lists because great album, dude. Great album.
Good album.
They did the thing. They did a good job. I really like Scaring the Hose.
Wow, really? The what? JPEG Mafia,
JPEG
and Danny
Mafia
Brown?
and Danny Brown, yes.
Oh, that's incredible. I didn't
That
expect that out of
was-
you at all.
Emmett, when I tell you that I told Jimena earlier, I can't wait to see Emmett's reaction when I tell him that I really like Scaring the Hose.
When I tell you, I went to a Death Grips concert this year because a friend of mine
dude,
wanted to go.
I envy
So
you.
many Scaring the Hose shirts that I've seen. I had never listened to Death Grips until that day.
Well, the thing is, Scaring the Hose is very much so Death Grips like.
Adjacent,
It's totally that vibe, and I got heavily into Death Grips earlier this year. As we discussed that I've been listening to a ton of music. I've gotten into Death Grips. When I first listened to Scaring the Hose, I was not expecting it to be so Death Grips like. But yeah, great album. Really great album. Like I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's super fun. It's out there. It's in your face. It's super inventive. It's so much fun. It's a great album. The opening line is "Fuck Elon Musk."
That's great. That's talk about a classic.
What a time, bro. Come on. And then the other shout out I need to give, Lil Yachty made a record called Let's Start Here.
Really?
That is a fucking psychedelic rock record. It's wild. Because usually when a rapper moves into rock, it's not a good time, right? Like it's usually not super
Kid
fun.
Cudi.
Kid Cudi, right? It's Speeding to Heaven. Everybody's thinking about that. Lil Yachty did a fucking awesome job. Like I discovered, like I got into Pink Floyd this year, and clearly so did Lil Yachty, because that shit is basically like a Pink Floyd record with some Lil Yachty lines on it, and it's pretty good, dude. Like he opens up. He's got some really like personal bars in there. It's a great time, good record. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It's not a big fan of Lil Yachty, but the fact that he did such a great job with this album, sick.
Dude, I hesitate to call myself a Lil Yachty fan because I like one album of his and a couple of songs. But like as someone who loves him when he does Detroit rap, I listened to that album and I was like, all right, this is clearly not for me.
See, that's the thing. It's for me. He did it.
But it makes me so happy that like he tried something, and for someone whose tastes align that way, it worked. So it gives me confidence that like, oh no, so he wasn't just on some bullshit. He was actually talented at that too.
No, he really is. Like surprisingly, and you know, I'll mess with some Lil Yachty tracks here and there, but I came at it with an open mind because I had heard good stuff, and I was super pleasantly surprised by how faithful it is to that type of music, and how good of a clean, nice job it does at like just adapting psychedelic rock. It was sick. It was really great.
Insanity. Oh boy. Huh. Well,
How about that Scaring the Hose pick, Emmett? Remember when you had to teach me what fucking Tribe Called Quest was, bro?
I can't believe that you've grown so much.
Hey.
More than even I did. I gotta be honest, I didn't even listen to Scaring the Hose.
It's great.
Not
real good.
not for any specific reason against it. It's just like I just didn't get around to it. I don't know. Okay, so are those all of your picks? Are we now dealing with the
Yes, those are my picks, and we don't have any overlay.
We don't. Now let's get political then. I like.
Okay.
I got to be honest. I like the boldness of the scaring the hose pick.
Dude, let's fucking make it happen, dog.
Are we
Absolutely.
down? Are we down?
Yes. Calling it.
Scaring
Album
the
of the year,
hose,
bro.
it is.
Let's go.
Album of the year goes to Scaring the Hose, followed by movie of the year Barbie. We bring them in just to scare them away.
We got range, dude. We got fucking range. Sick.
Oh God.
I was very excited to see that reaction and did not disappoint.
That's incredible. I'm giving it to something that I didn't even listen to just for the audacity. I love that because I love that you would be the one to back that up the most.
I championed it. I championed Scaring the Hose into winning the Spoonie.
I promise before next recording, I will listen to Scaring the Hose.
Sick. I'm excited. I'm excited to hear your review.
Oh boy. My first Peggy song. Can't wait. Oh boy. So I guess next we get to how did I miss this? This one is basically just some long running thing, something that is old or something that we finally got around to and really enjoyed this year. For this one, I mean, actually, I'll flip it back on you. I'll let you start this time. Because I got one big one and no real follow-ups because I couldn't think of anything. But I want to hear what you got to say.
Fair enough. Yeah, and this one we start to get into the personally, more personal awards, right? It's difficult to have overlap here, so we may pick a consensus, we may not. It's a little murkier. Yeah. For me, I talked about it a little bit on actually all three of my entries here. Hades is a game that I knew I was going to come around to at some point and fall in love with, and I did. Game's fucking amazing. Same for Rogue Legacy 2, right? Like both of those are all the action my Steam Deck saw this year, and both were super, super high quality. I knew I was going to get super into Rogue Legacy 2. I literally bought it when it came out, and I just let it sit until the right time because I loved the first Rogue Legacy, so it's a given, right? And then the other one, it's a wide net, right? Because as I discussed last year, I've been getting into music in a different capacity than I always had before, right? Like I'm listening to fucking Death Grips and shit. So yeah, I don't want to say music, right? So if I had to, if I can say just getting into more music than that. If not, I will throw out things like Death Grips. I'll throw out things like Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd is a band I've been familiar with, right? You know Pink Floyd, you know Dark Side of the Moon. I never sat down to listen to Dark Side of the Moon, right? Let alone other albums like Wish You Were Here and Animals and stuff that I'm super into and music. Cool music.
Just good music. Caring about music.
Yeah, caring about music in a different capacity. That's something that I'm very glad I'm doing now because nothing beats you have like a 30, 40-minute drive and you're like, let me pull up an album. Let me just listen to this thing and we'll figure it out. It's a vibe. It's a good time.
I like that. I like that a lot. Huh. That's a good one. Now I got to think for a minute. Mine, the one that I have on here, this is a franchise that I watched every single entry of this franchise this year. There's another one. Damn near everything I did was with Gabby. Okay. So this is another one that we saw together with some friends as well. I watched every John Wick movie this year.
Oh my God. That wins, bro. That's it. That's a consensus.
John Wick is fucking incredible.
It's so fucking good.
It's insane. Like I started a long time ago. I watched the first movie trying to get ready for the third one. And then for whatever reason, I fell off on watching the second and eventually the third. But this year, 4 was coming out. And me, Aubie, Richard, and Gabby were like, yo, we're going to make this happen. We're going to watch the 4th one. We're going to get together and watch all these movies. Such a fun ride. Amazing. Such a like, it's like Burnout for human bodies.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
It is like, I can't wait to see
the fact that we didn't even mention John Wick 4 in movie of the year, by the way.
Oh, yeah. There was too many good movies. A lot of great movies.
But yeah, John Wick, that's a consensus, man. Like, we don't even need a debate. Yes, I was not aware that you got into John Wick this year. And I'm happy for you.
So deep into it. I was over here getting emotional when Lance Hendrickson
Oh,
passed
yes.
away.
Oh my God, totally.
Or Lance Reddick, excuse me, Lance Reddick. But still, I was upset about that. The only other one that I could even squeeze out a little bit as a side choice was Bullet Train. That movie's incredible, and I
I have
finally
to
came
see
around to
it.
watching
Haven't
it.
seen it yet. It looks like so much fun.
It is so much fun, and it's only from last year, so it doesn't feel like it's been a long ass time. But God, it is so much fun. I think it's still on Netflix. Maybe check that out. It is so great. But no, John Wick wins. John Wick
Yeah.
is
Oh
absolutely
my
the pick.
God. Absolutely. That's a consensus. Don't even have to think about it. How did I
Hell
miss
yeah.
this? John Wick. Love it. Amazing.
Fuck yeah.
Consequences. That's my impression for the day.
I'm
Moving
gonna
on.
need a gun.
I mean, God, what a fucking ride, dog. What a now I'm
Uh,
happy. Now I'm happy. I rewatched them all with Jimena too, and they're just as fun on a rewatch, dog. Just as fun.
Absolutely.
They don't lose an ounce of fun.
When you know the roller coaster's about to drop, it's so much more
You're like,
invigorating.
oh shit, then you just wait till you see how he kills this motherfucker. Oh, so good. So
He
good.
threw that tomahawk.
Amazing. Amazing. Moving on to the internet thing of the year. This is a wide category, of course, but just a thing that happened on the internet that we want to shout out. Last year, for example, Kind of Funny Studio launch happened. Obviously, that intersected with both of our interests quite a bit. So that won it. This year, I don't think there's going to be something as,
Consensus-y.
yeah, consensus-y as concrete, you might say. I have one that I think I only wrote one thing down, right? And I think it's got a good chance of winning.
I'm I'm scared because I'm thinking of a way you could go, and I did not go that way, so I'm very nervous.
So where I'm going, right? Everybody knows this year I left social media. I bowed out of all that. I'm more on YouTube, and this is my outlet. This right here, what we're doing currently, right?
Indeed.
So the catalyst for all this, right, is much like our lovely pick for album of the year says in opening lines, fuck Elon Musk, right? My internet thing of the year is the hilariously comedy of errors downfall of Twitter.
That's fair. Look, I think that's a really good one. I feel like it's hard to call it the downfall of Twitter until it has fallen.
Fair, but the Twitter situation.
The Twitter situation, I think that's a good one. I think that's really good. Damn. That
X.
might be consensus.
Can we just call it X? Because that says
I don't
plenty.
want to call it X.
No,
well, yeah,
the
X
winner
situation.
is just X, and enough said.
But this is internet thing of the year. Is this our favorite internet thing of the year, or is this our internet thing that was just consuming the year?
See, that's how I viewed it, right? I struggled to find something that I loved a lot from the internet this year, but the thing that I kept coming back to was just everything with Twitter, and it was so big, it was everywhere. You couldn't run away from it, and unless you did what I did and just ran away from it. And I'm also somewhat grateful to it because I enjoy being off social media, and I don't know if I would have been if it wasn't for all that debacle. So in a way, I'm glad it happened. In a way, I'm glad. And it's also objectively really fucking funny.
It is. It's absolutely hilarious. There's always new updates, and maybe this will lead to us. What am I gonna say? I'm kind of fuck. Man, I just saw another update to one of the things I'm about to talk about. But yeah, I feel like the Twitter situation, it has led to alternatives popping up, your Threads and your Blue Skies. Blue Sky has been my emergency sailboat of choice. I think the vibes on there are a lot more internet 1.0 in a good way, in a healthier way, where it's not so much inundated with information and stuff. It's just like dudes hanging out.
Yeah,
and I like that. If all of this leads to a place like Blue Sky being the place that we all eventually end up, because Threads exists, but man, it's just brands and influencers, and I just don't want a whole feed of that. if places like Blue Sky can stand up and be like the person-to-person social media website like Twitter is now, I'm so excited for that future. So I'll tell you right now, I think that is the pick. I think the X situation is a really good pick. I think it is a good pick because you looked at this category as what is the thing that overtook the whole year.
Right.
I didn't think of it that way. I thought of it as my favorite things that
I'm
happened this
excited
year.
to hear those. I'm excited to hear a more happier take on it.
Okay. One of these is like a little wild for me to pick, and the other one is just something fascinating to me. I'll choose the first one that's fascinating. H Bomber Guy put out his plagiarism video.
So good.
You already knew. You knew this was coming, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I did. I almost wrote it down. I'm like, Emmett's got me covered. He'll do it.
I got you covered. But I specifically put the reaction to the video because the video itself is really good. And, you know, I'm going to do my top 23 video essays of 2023 article. It's going to be on there. So, like, the video itself is good. But it's the reaction to it. It's the fact that I had personal, like, people that I interact with and know and or have made content with. They also found out that they were getting plagiarized by people through that video.
Crazy.
And the web just got bigger and bigger and bigger after the video came out, where people kept digging and saw more and more things. Things are still progressing. I don't know what this is in relation to, but yet I saw Dan Olson, who's another very well-known internet video essayist person. He made that the NFT video that everyone talks about. He made that video. He just tweeted, "Yes, I saw the apology video." And I didn't even know what that meant. Apparently, James Somerton put out an apology video.
Dude, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, apparently it just happened. I need to watch this. So
I need
I'm
to
gonna
watch
do
it.
that probably.
I'm not the most proud to say that I've been, you know, semi frequently just Googling his account just to see what's up. Like, is he gonna respond at all? Yeah, like, are you gonna do something? So I'm excited now. Good. I have something to do later.
I can't wait to see how he digs himself out of this.
Oof.
But this drama has been fascinating to watch because in some ways it is drama, but I also really appreciate that it's shining a light on like the creative process and how important that is for these types of things. Because I think people find it so easy. Oh, I can just read Wikipedia at you. I can read this book. I can read this other source at you, and then monetize it and be a thousandaire or whatever. But I think his video kind of highlighted the fact that, hey, if you really want to be a writer, it takes a lot more work than that. And folks who are doing that work shouldn't feel ashamed that it takes a long time to do.
Totally.
There's a lot of, you know, urgency to make content as fast as possible. I really love that video is like highlighting, hey, you don't have to make a video a day or even a video a week or even a video a month. Make it to the best quality, and if you're happy with it, that's good. And a lot of other things it says in there too, but I think it was a great video overall, and the reaction has been really nice to see, or just really interesting to see in a messy way. So that's one. The one that was my number one thing of the year, and this is wild. There's a gentleman on YouTube. I do not know how long this channel has been up, but it says there's 304 videos on the channel, but all of the videos from before like 6 months ago don't exist on the channel. So perhaps they've been doing stuff up to this point. But there's a person on the internet named Glorb. Glorb makes music. What type of music did they make? They specifically make rap songs with AI filters of SpongeBob characters where you've created an entire beef that they all have in Bikini Bottom.
That's the most Emmett fucking thing you've ever said on this fucking show.
And look, I know AI is a villain right now, and for 99.9% of reasons,
that one's fine. That one's okay.
Yeah. Well, I just feel weird about AI in general right now because we don't fully understand it, and also it feels like it's taking over way too quick and fucking things up for folks. But it seems like he's definitely writing these bars, because these are not like some cringy like, oh, look how dumb this shit is. This isn't something I'm watching in like where I watched The Room to laugh at how bad it is, or I actually did watch the first 3 episodes of that Weekend show I forget what it's called. The one on HBO. Oh,
Yes.
The Idol. Me and Gabby were watching The Idol. We were hate watching it. And then they said an Epstein joke that made us turn it off and we never went back.
You're like, nope. Out.
Yeah. But yeah, I haven't been enjoying these songs in that way. These are legitimately clever bars, hard-hitting beats. And there's like a whole like lore in the background where in one song they like shot Karen, Plankton's wife, computer wife. And then they made a song like 2 weeks later, like basically like dancing on her grave.
Oh my God. Okay.
It's fucked up. It's very fucked up. But like, this is a type of like, I mean, you remember Tupac Biggie, where Tupac was like, "That's why I fucked your wife, you fat motherfucker." Like, that's the type of energy
I love
these songs
that.
are giving.
Amazing.
But it's Plankton talking shit at Mr. Krabs and the Krusty Crew. It's SpongeBob and Squidward talking shit at Plankton. It's Sandy talking shit at Plankton. There's like a Megan Thee Stallion parody squirrel song that Sandy does, and it's fucking good. Like, it's just a good song. I have been so fascinated by this, and the first video he's put out in this series seems to be 6 months ago, and the last one was 2 weeks ago. So it's very, very good. Look up Glorb, Glorb, if you're interested at all. The music videos are animated and everything. It's very detailed, but it's also on Spotify and everything. It's way better than it deserves to be. So yeah, but no, Twitter/X wins.
I fucking love that. I fucking love that, Emmett. It reminded me in the worst possible way to. Could you? Have you gone back? You know how like when you see old memes, they're just like the most cringy thing possible, like 9gag era memes, you know?
Yes.
It's like, God, how did we enjoy
Rage
that?
face.
You just like flashback? I don't know. You gave me a flashback to fucking what was that YouTube fucking show we used to watch, and it's god fucking awful. Oh, Epic Rap Battles of History or whatever the fuck that was.
Ooh, dude! You would think that that's what it is.
No,
but then like
I understand that this is a good version of that, but I'm just saying it's like, damn, we used to watch that shit. I used to watch that shit and be like, yeah, and it's like, oh God,
dude, I'm not ready. My kids are gonna see this episode one day and hear me talk about this, look it up, and be like, what the fuck is he talking about? There's this one song called Eugene, and it is the hardest shit. They have Mr. Krabs sipping lean in the video. It's great.
Yes, dude. Let's fucking go. All right. Well,
I love it. But no, the X situation wins, absolutely.
Now I know what I'm going to be listening to while I play Lies of P. I got it.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of P being talked about in some of these songs.
I bet. Oh, I bet. We'll move on to the one category where we can't really pick a consensus because it's inherently a personal category. We just kind of want to shout out some personal stuff for us. It's our favorite new experience of the year, right?
Yeah.
I think we both kind of know what we're each gonna say in this one.
Ooh.
Like I have a pretty good idea of what you're gonna say. I think you probably have a good idea of what I'm gonna say. So I don't know. I guess let's get on with it.
Since you started last, I think I'll go ahead and kick off this one. I don't know if that's actually the case, but I'm going to go ahead and start. My second place, and there's a pretty wide gap between second and first. My second one was attending PAX. Never been to Boston, never been to PAX. PAX was a lot of fun. I got to see a lot of people on the internet that I've only been interacting through a screen in person for the first time. That was really great. And it was also nice to see, like, look, Twitter isn't real. Twitter is not a real place. None of the internet is a real place. But when you meet people that you've known through those connections and they like are excited about you and they fuck with you, and it's like
a great feeling.
It is a great feeling. And it's like, oh shit, you really give a shit. And maybe I just don't completely process the fact that like, no, you're having genuine interactions with these people. It makes sense that like people are looking for you when they have a chance to, but it still blew me away. And I'm like, man, you really like, not only are you like, oh man, you're cool and like, you'll talk me up, but like, you're remembering shit that I've said on podcasts and stuff. And I'm like,
totally.
Where'd this come from? Someone stopped me in the middle of PAX and pointed at my Welcome to the Thing shirt and was like, hey, I love that podcast. And I'm like, I'm on it.
That's me. Yeah.
It was crazy. And then, of course, Gabby getting to see that side of me for the first time. I felt like a rock star when people did recognize me. And she was like, "Oh shit, you're known." And I'm like, I've been trying to tell you.
Dude, no joke. I've never told this story. It's not really a story. It's just kind of like a collection of little stories. I've never said it on a podcast, I don't think, but first time I went to Kind of Funny event, Kind of Funny Live 3, and a little bit impromptu, but I think if I remember correctly, it happened more in Kind of Funny Live 3 because I was earlier on in Kind of Funny's like life, and I had a period where I was like a quote unquote known name within the Kind of Funny lore. Like I was named on
Absolutely.
shows fairly often, and I was a known name, right? A known entity. Obviously, there's that video of Tim meeting me that went super viral within the community, and even further than that. When I went to Kind of Funny Live 3, it's the closest I'll ever feel to being a celebrity. People were asking to take pictures with me. I'm like, I'm a guy,
Yeah.
dude. I'm just a guy. I don't know why, but sure. But yeah, that's a crazy fucking feeling, man. I'm totally with you.
Yeah, yeah. So that was very surreal. But something that feels at times even more surreal, and at times, or all the time, even more heartwarming, is the biggest new experience I've had in my life up to this point. Being in a committed relationship.
Of course, and we'll clap for that. And we'll clap for that.
Yay. Golf clap, golf clap. Um, yeah. Of course, I met Gabby last year, met her in June, and I've told the whole story about how we got to the point in January where we made ourselves official. But um, it's been a trip. I am learning things about myself. I am learning what I'm capable of in some ways. In ways where it's like, oh man, I didn't know I could do that. I didn't know I had the capacity for things like this. Um, it's also teaching me, man, things I thought I didn't really care about like that. Turns out I do care about the and other things. It's bringing a lot of things into focus, and it feels like in some ways I'm sharpening the person I am, where I'm not becoming a different person. I'm more just refining myself in ways that probably would have happened either way, but now there's like a specific reason, you know?
No, 100%.
So yeah, it's been a fucking trip. Mario, you know all about this feeling.
I do. It's amazing.
You know it
It's
even more.
It's an incredible feeling, and I'm super happy for you that you're going through it and you guys are killing it, and I love you guys. And yeah, I figured that was going to be your pick, and that's a great pick. That's a great pick, and you're lucky to have Gabby. Gabby's lucky to have you. I'm glad you guys are in each other's lives and just making each other better. That's what it's all about, dude.
Thank you kindly. She's
Absolutely.
gonna watch this and cry.
Aw, love you, Gabby. For me, kind of also a no-brainer if you look at basically 45 different conversations that we've had about how you're in a committed relationship and that's a new thing for you. And I'm in school and that was a new thing for me. I've just finished my first full year of being in school, right? I started in January of 2023, just finished up a week and a half or so ago. And yeah, dude, like I've spoken about it at length, here, but on the show, but it's been amazing. I've never felt so more fulfilled or happy to be doing something or more driven to do something, and it's going great so far, and I'm happy, and I will continue, and I have a long road ahead, very long road ahead. So we're trucking on, man. First year was a success, was a big success.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I'm glad to hear that. And hey, I'm following in your footsteps. Literally 30 minutes before we started recording, signed up for my little online class. So
Sick.
that'll get the ball rolling, and hopefully early 2025 at the latest, I'm out of there.
Sweet, dude. I'm
Yeah.
excited for you. That's awesome. I'm glad
Yeah.
you're getting back on that horse.
Yeah. Turns out I only had 9 classes left. Could you believe that shit?
Shit. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll be out before I know it. So
You got
look
that.
forward to
Yeah.
that,
That'll
everyone.
fly by. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Indeed.
And we move on to our last category, which is Person of the Year.
Ooh.
And
This one's
I
gonna be so interesting.
I have an opportunity to be very annoying here.
Ooh, I have an opportunity to be annoying in the exact opposite way. Or to not be annoying in the exact opposite way.
So I'll kick us off. just because
Please.
I've been thinking about this one for a minute, and I think my argument is gonna be compelling to you in a way that you wouldn't have expected it.
Oh boy. All
Okay,
right.
because much like Time magazine, I would strongly argue that the biggest person of the year 2023 is my dear Taylor Swift, right? Now,
Mhm.
I say that, and you and everybody watching at home is expecting me to ramble on about, how the show is the biggest show in the history of concerts, which it is, and all the records she's broken and all the crazy stuff, and AMC has never sold more tickets in their whole life, and all of that is all very true, right? And if you read the Time article, which I have, some of it is a very long article, very good article if you're a Taylor Swift fan, a lot of good tidbits in there. One paragraph in particular pretty much said it all, where the person who wrote the article was like, even if you don't believe me or you don't want to accept that this is the person of the year, think of how many times all like daily basically you see something about her, you hear something about her, somebody tells you something about her. She's fucking everywhere. And
Yep.
my pitch to you, Emmett, is I think she's so undeniably the person of the year that I am fucking sick of hearing about her all the fucking time. And I have 3 Taylor Swift tattoos and I'm sick of it. Holy fucking shit. I'm sick
That's
of it.
incredible. Did not expect this. This is great.
This is what I'm telling you. Yes, she's everywhere, and it's so much, and I'm just tired. I just like listening to the music, and fuck, man, it's so much. It's everywhere. It's in fucking ESPN, bro. Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Now she's got teenage girls going to football games for the first time.
Bro,
It's over for the world.
She made the NFL bigger than it already was. What the
Absolutely.
fuck?
Holy shit.
It's undeniable that this is her fucking world, and we live in it, and even I'm sick of it, dude. Even I'm fucking sick of it. Seeing every goddamn article on my Google News feeds is like, dude, holy shit, I miss the days where she was the biggest pop star in the world, but not the
In
fucking
the public eye.
ruler of the planet. Goddamn. So
Absolutely.
that's my pitch to you. I think if we're looking at it objectively, you can't pick anybody else, but you go ahead.
This is gonna be maybe uncomfortable because you went right. I am going so far left. It's gonna be fucking weird.
I'm excited.
Oh my god! All right, so I feel like I have a whole speech, so give me a fucking second. I feel that there has been a trend going on in the last couple of years, maybe like last decade or so, maybe a little bit more even, where there's been a disconnect. There's a disconnect between how things are for normal people like you and I, and how people in power respond to how things are. I feel like, we get to a lot of these elections we've had in the last couple of years, even as early as like the second Obama administration win, where, all the drone strikes that were happening that Obama was signing off on, we wouldn't hear about those things necessarily as they were going on, but these things would go on, but we'd be sitting all happy at home because, hey, we got a black president. He's such a progressive thing just because he's a black president. We have, things going on when Trump was in office where we'd be like, hey, hate crime's going up. Everything sucks. Something should be done. And he would just look at things and be like, nah, it's fine. Like that whole thing. And of course, there's way more issues than just that. I feel like things have come to a head with the Biden presidency where the disconnect between how things are and how people in power are seeing it is about to reach a breaking point maybe. And I think that reasoning, or not the reasoning, I think COVID, of course, is like the big factor that started this, where everyone's suffering and then we open things back up and act like everything's fine and keep going. That was like the first disconnect. I think the breaking point is about to come with in relation to who I think should be the persons of the year, Palestinian journalists.
Love that. I fucking love that.
And the reason I specifically say Palestinian journalists, because there's a couple of folks that I see on my timelines where I hate that this is even a story that can be repeated, where it's, hey, this is a journalist on the Gaza Strip, Palestinian, reporting what's happening. Through all the bombardments, through all of the attacks, through all of the gunshots, through all the gunfire, they stay on the air. They kill their families. They stay on the air. They kill their uncles, their parents, their nieces. They wipe out their entire bloodline, yet they stay on the air. And when nothing else works, they gun them down and they live stream themselves bleeding out so that people cannot deny what's going on. I think, look, of course, we're not even gonna say the H word because none of this is about the H word, but it's the fact that atrocities are happening over there, and the people who are having those atrocities happen to them are making it known to the world, and the world is listening. Like, it feels like things are shifting. It feels like Israel has been such a hard, steadfast thing in American culture of like, you don't fuck with Israel, you don't say anything against them, they are our allies. There's no question about it. In the last like 3 to 4 months, it feels like people are getting nervous about holding such a steadfast position on that, to the point where like I've been seeing a lot of talk about like, oh, if Biden's going to just be outright about supporting a genocide, then we're not going to vote for him. And a lot of people on the left, a lot of people in the Democratic circles are hearing that type of rhetoric and are getting scared because they remember how close it was last time we were against the same opponent, potentially Donald Trump, maybe. So like, and then if it's not Trump, then you don't even have the, oh, remember 2016? Now it's just any Republican.
Right.
So like, now the Democrats are getting afraid that, hey, we might actually lose votes on standing on this position. Maybe we should figure something else out. And the language of like, we don't care about the genocide, we're going to stand with Israel, all that stuff, that language is starting to ease up a little bit. We're starting to see a little bit of criticisms towards Israel. And that's only happening because people are seeing what's happening, and people are seeing what's happening because folks like this are reporting it. And, you know, this doesn't even need to be people who went to journalism school, people who took their phones out to show. I can't tell you how many dead kids I've seen on my timeline. And I hate to say that. And it's, of course, not something I want to see. But we should be seeing that because that changes your mind and that makes you think about something. And we get loud enough about this thing that seems so impossible to change. If we can stop this, then we can stop anything. And I hope that's the takeaway for people at large. I hope they realize if you can change something that seems so impossible to change, what else can we change? And maybe that'll lead to a better country and maybe even world if that's able to happen. So yeah, Palestinian journalists. So yeah, Taylor Swift wins, right?
I was gonna say I fucking adore looking at my Google Doc right now is the funniest fucking thing. This is person of the year, and it says Taylor Swift, comma, the Palestinian journalist.
Oh God,
bro!
I knew this conversation was going to happen because I knew I was going to do Palestinian journalists, and I knew because I agree on everything you said. She has been impossible to get away from this entire year to the point where it's become annoying. But I just felt really strongly about this.
Hey, dude, listen, we took two very different approaches, but I think your approach is obviously morally above, right? And it's a whole thing why a bunch of people got mad at Time Magazine. I referenced Time Magazine because, like, you know, you can give the honors to a more worthy cause, right? Than just like random pop star. And that's valid. And that's totally valid. And, you know, you're opening the door to having real conversations, whereas Time Magazine evidently did not want to open the door for real conversations. They just took the easy way out.
Yeah, they don't want to open the door because up until now there have been consequences. But the more we talk about it, the more it seems like those consequences are bullshit.
Yeah, 100%.
So I hope we continue to talk about it is all. We talk about it and then things happen after enough words are said.
No, those are good things to talk about. And it's man, without just super deeply getting into it, but like next year, right? We're wrapping up 2023. 2024. God damn. I've been dreading this year for 3 years now. Like I've been dreading 2024 cuz I'm like god damn it, man. Like I remember 2016, I remember 2020. I don't want to go through this again, and this one has a potential of being like the most explosive one yet, like the most fuck me, man. And issues like this just fucking adding to the
To the pot.
your yeah man what you're saying is so true, and I'm happy to hear that it does at least appear like there is some sort of change. I'm offline, right? So I don't see that as much anymore. Those are some of the things I miss out on. I will know what's happening to a very top level, but for better or worse, where I'm at right now in my life, I've gone back to the olden times of just hearing opinions from people around me, right? Which is very different than being online, right? You hear very different amounts of opinions. And I live in Florida,
Oh Lord Jesus, that's true.
right? So what I've been hearing is very different to what you've been hearing.
This is true, and I do live in Georgia. I'll say, but most of what I've been hearing is online.
Exactly. And I don't see that angle online. So from that angle, I feel much better about a whole bunch of stuff, right? Compared to what I choose, what I don't listen to, don't input into my brain, because I understand where I live and the social circles in the places I live, man. It's just when you live in Florida, you're going to hear some takes. That's all I'll say.
Absolutely,
You're gonna
all my family's from Florida. I know.
you got some takes, man. So it's a valiant effort, right? And now is when we have the discussion of what's the consensus pick, right?
I know what the consensus pick should be.
I agree. I agree.
Okay. I agree on that. And look, I'll pull off just real quick to say about 2024. I've said this a couple times on the podcast. We've been in the coal zone for the last like damn near decade, it feels like. I have to believe that things are getting to the point where the cool zone's about to either cool off or heat up.
Yeah.
So it can burn out or freeze out. Something's gonna happen. Something's gotta give. It makes me nervous to like say that something has to happen because I don't know what the fuck that means.
That something means. I know. I agree.
Yeah. It's very nerve-wracking to think about that, but something's got to give. It can't stay the way it is. So
I sure fucking hope it doesn't, man. And it's the whole thing.
Yeah.
If you look back at everything that we've been through collectively as a country, or us as certain minorities, what my community has gone through, what your community has gone through, and how momentous and awful a bunch of shit is, and shit doesn't change still. So it's you hope at some point something happens and it does genuinely change stuff, but we'll see, man. That'll be for next year's Spoonies, I guess.
God,
Fuck me.
Best internet thing when that terrorist that's so insensitive to crack a joke right now. Holy shit.
All right,
But whatever happens, we'll face it together on this show and with the ones we love.
Hell yeah. That's a good way to end it. 2023 was a good one for me personally. I had a great year, very productive year. I feel great about it. I hope you did as well, Emmett.
I'll say this was a year of I had more friction this year than I've ever had. And a lot of that is good.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's mostly all good, but I am so used to not having friction.
Yeah.
So I am getting used to friction being a regular part of my life. And that is good ultimately, but it's gonna take some more getting used to. and I got a little bit more friction before I could smooth out back to levels of where I was originally.
Yeah, you'll get
But
there.
it's all good. It's all good friction. It's all for the betterment. And, friction means eventually things will be smooth because you rub out those rough edges.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm happy for you. I'm excited for you to continue on your journey you've taken on this year, and we'll be here on Spoonful talking about it, man.
Indeed. Next episode, top 10 pregnant animals.
let's really cool it down, man.
For real. Lord have mercy.
The best 100 puppy pictures.
Number 100. Aw. Audio listeners are perplexed.
What is going on?
Oh my God.
Thank you, everyone, for a wonderful 2023. We hope you had a good 2023. We hope 2024 brings some good stuff, maybe some positive change as well. We will see you all on the next time. Happy New Year, I think. Happy New Year.
Happy life.
Oh, I love that. That's great.
Mhm.